Happy Saturday night, everybody, and it's time to do another power rankings, or let's see how people can get mad at me tonight. Now, I've done logo rankings before, so I didn't want to do the same thing I've done before. So I've split it into conferences, and I'm doing the Western Conference tonight. We'll see how this goes, whether or not I do the Eastern Conference at a later date. I'll probably do the Eastern Conference at a later date. But I didn't want to just take rankings I've done before and just split them in half. I wanted to say, all right, now if I'm comparing their all-time best logos, and that's subjective in and of itself, whose logos would I rank, I think, the best or the least best out of 16? And so this includes Seattle. So it's the first time I've had Seattle in any kind of power rankings where it's not just as a joke or as a kind of, look, Seattle's on the board. And again, this is my current favorites. This may change, but it's pretty set. Number 16, I have the Oilers. To me, the Oilers has always kind of just been. To me, it's a word mark with an oil drop, and I understand there's an emotional attachment that Oiler fans have to it. That logo has existed for a very long time. Oiler fans love it. I have never been a huge fan of that logo, just generally speaking. I know that's me. I don't expect anybody to agree with me on that opinion. Absolutely okie dokie. Number 15, Seattle. Seattle, I was kind of disappointed by the primary logo. I still kind of am. You have a name like Kraken. I think you can do something really fun with the logo, and they didn't. We'll see if their promotional materials are really creative and out there, and if they do something different. But for me, Seattle, a little bit underwhelming. Number 14, Colorado. I picked this crest. This is my favorite crest Colorado has worn. And of course, that's an alternate jersey. They've never actually worn that as their primary logo on their main jersey. That is my favorite. Again, I know people love the A and all of that. I prefer this personally. So this is where you can see this countdown is going to be a little different because I'm using my favorite logos from each team. And the Oilers never really had... I wouldn't put the gear ahead of their current logo. It was something creative, but I wouldn't put it ahead of their current logo in terms of favorites. Number 13. I was torn on Vancouver. I knew Vancouver would end up here. There's an emotional attachment I'm going to have as a Canuck fan to the Canucks and their branding in general. I went with the skate logo, but it was called a plate of spaghetti back in the 80s for a reason. And it again shows that the longer you go from wearing a certain design, the more fans are going to clamor for it. Look no further than the Islanders and the Fishermen. And Vancouver, the skate, to me is much the same. This was not a logo that was widely loved at the time they used it. I thought about putting the Orca on the board, but if I had to choose between two, I would probably say I like the skate a little bit more than the Orca. But I don't want to see the Canucks go away from the Orca because it's kind of nice to have an identity for the first time where you're not changing your logo and your design every few years. So, begrudgingly skate, but I have to be honest, it is not a logo that I can put ahead of number 12. Now, I have, and there's a reason I'm wearing the Mighty Ducks jersey, I have a Mighty Ducks like this, a magnet, but it's kind of bungled up, so I'm going to have to order another decal that we put on cardboard. It's a decal. And turn it into a magnet. But that's the same basic design, right? So the old Mighty Ducks logo, and I have to say that over the years, the Mighty Ducks logo has grown on me. If I had done my favorite logos at the time that the Ducks came into the NHL with the Mighty Ducks, they would have been easily worst. And I would have talked about how it was cartoony, and it was ridiculous, and it was terrible, and what a horrible idea it was. And now, it's fine. It's fine. Doesn't bother me. So I have the Ducks at 12th. At number 11, Nashville. The Preds, when I was torn, I thought, do I want to use... Because I have their original logo as well, which has silver on it, but it's not different enough that I thought it warranted using that one instead of this one when it came to the magnets I'm using for this board. And again, the Preds, I put them ahead of these five. It is strange. I mean, that the size of those teeth and he's cutting his neck. But anyways, Preds is okay. We're into the, it's okay. It's fine. I think most hockey teams in the league have pretty good branding. I was going to do a video on which team needs to change their primary logo or change their branding next, and I really can't think of any. Most of the teams that I thought they needed some kind of a change, they've either done it or I've come around to the design they use. Number 10, For Vegas, I like their secondary. And it's funny because they've brought out now, they have a retro reverse, which has that as the main logo, so I can use that on the board because they've had it on the front of a jersey. That's the measure I used for this. And I like that more than their primary. And I know I'm in the minority with that. But this star is the one off the Vegas sign when you're going into the city. It's the one that everybody gets their picture taken with. The crossed swords, I think, are a nice look. The colors are sharp. I think it's a nice logo. I actually like that one a lot. So Vegas, for me, I would put this over their primary logo that they currently use. And again, it only qualifies for this video because it's on the retro reverse on the front. The logo has to have been on the front of the jersey. Number 9, St. Louis. I like the blue note. Again, we're into ones that I like. Just there's other ones I like more. And the blue note is sharp. They've never really gone away from it on any level. It's changed its shape over the years. It's changed color a little bit over the years. It really is a very reliable logo, I guess, for lack of a better term, over the last 50 plus years. It's changed, sure, compared to what it was when they first came into the league, but it's just, I think it looks better now than it did when they came into the league anyways. Number 8, the Kachina for Arizona. I do like it more than their current logo, the yawning coyote. I know it's supposed to be howling, but it looks like it's yawning, and I can't see anything other than yawning. First time I read that, I was like, damn it, now I see yawning coyote, and I do. The Kachina's nice. Now, the Kachina, I think, probably gets overrated even by me, right? Even, I will admit, the Kachina jerseys look really sharp, and a jersey that I hated when they first came into the league, when they moved from Winnipeg, I learned to like over the years. But I can't put their logo, the logo itself, over the others. There's Blues fans that right now are apoplectic that they are beneath Arizona, and I don't have a reason to tell people other than this is personal preference. And you guys can let me know in the comment section below which logos you like the most the teams have used on the front of a jersey, and what ranking you'd put them in. Sure, throw that in the comment section. I think it's kind of a fun thing. That's what these power rankings are supposed to be. Number 7, Calgary. Oh, I thought about Blasty. But Blasty is not my favorite Calgary logo. Their main Flaming Sea. This was the one I used to draw all the time when I was a kid. Well, all the logos in the NHL, I used to draw Boston's and I used to draw Calgary's a lot. They were easy. Vancouver, that plate of spaghetti, not so much. I tried. Just mangled it. Flames, I got pretty good at. And I've always liked their logo. I prefer the Atlanta Flames one. I don't have one, and technically they weren't the Atlanta Flames, because if I'm going to allow the Atlanta Flames, then I have to allow the original Winnipeg Jets, and then you get this whole other area where the Jets might show up on the board twice. Number 6, speaking of which, and a nice segue, the Winnipeg Jets. And I picked that logo. I know that's not the one they use for their heritage jerseys. I know the one in their heritage jerseys is probably more popular. I like that logo better. And I do prefer it to the one that they wear now. I understand the one they wear now is nice, and it's an RCAF tie-in, but I think that jersey is fantastic. And of course, you know, the Jets name, RCAF tie-in is fantastic too. But I do like that. It's really sharp. Number 5, and I was torn on Dallas. So I went with Dallas. I went with the star. I have a sentimental value attachment to the star. And yet the logo they use currently is pretty nice as well. And so between the two, I thought I'd go with this. Now the North Stars, right? People are going to be like, where's the North Stars logo? Technically, they're Dallas. Again, it comes back to the Arizona argument where I'd have to have Winnipeg up here twice, and it kind of becomes a mess. And does Nordiques then bump out Colorado? You have a whole other mess coming up. So when I do the Carolina one for the Eastern Conference, I can't have Hartford. Can't have Hartford in there. Dallas, that is my preferred logo. It's just barely. It's really close between the two. I do like the new logo. I remember when they talked about rebranding, I was nervous. And then I saw it and I went, oh, no, that's fine. Number 4, San Jose. So it's the current logo. This isn't any different than where they were the last time I ranked logos. Really, I mean, they fall a little bit if you remember that video, which you shouldn't, because that was a long time ago. But San Jose at 4, I think it's a nice one, and I did pick their current logo because I think it looks better than the original. The original, it had a couple of minor flaws that this one fixes. This one's really, really well put together. Number 3, I know that right now the Chicago Blackhawks logo, there's a controversy being stirred up. I think that's going to go by the wayside. I really do. I think the Blackhawks logo is really fantastic, and if you've had an authentic Blackhawks jersey where you can see the chain stitching on it, it is really fantastic. It's part of the reason why their jerseys are usually ranked near the top or at the top of favorite jersey lists, because the logo is really, really fantastic, and it is an original 6. It is a classic. I don't know if this team's going to change the logo. I really don't know. And I know that that's going to be a continuing, ongoing discussion. What I know is that it is a nice looking logo. I've always liked it going back to when I was a kid. I thought it looked really cool. And it was one of the reasons why when I was starting to watch hockey, yeah, the Blackhawks, I wanted to see them do well. I thought they had great looking jerseys and their logo was good. That was because, again, when you're a kid, you're going to have your home team, which was the Canucks, and then you're going to have other teams you cheer for just because they got a cool looking jersey or cool looking this and that. And it's just as valid a reason to cheer for a team as any. Really, it really, really is. And I know people are going to get into the whole stats thing, but it is. Somebody says I want to cheer for that team because I think I like their uniform better. I'm not in a position to make any judgments. Number 2, Kings. And the Kings, I had kind of a minor issue with picking between 2. The coat of arms or the crown. And the crown that's in the same color scheme as this. I went with the coat of arms because that coat of arms jersey, when it first came out, I was blown away by it. I thought, what a fantastic redesign. They had gone from the 80s design to this, and I thought that was a huge departure. They took a risk. I know that the lion in the middle here, there were people that didn't like this, and I actually have a magnet made up which is the lion, just specifically on its own. I have numerous Kings because I've always liked their logos and their jerseys, even though I don't cheer for the team. This is where you say, well, clearly he's not picking them by his favorite teams, because San Jose, Chicago, LA, yeah, no, not really. And so this is my favorite of their logos, but they always have a nice logo. The one they use currently is kind of bland in comparison. I don't know that they ever change it back to just the crown. They've got the crown still in the logo. Just change it back to the crown. I think you've got a winning jersey. But either way, they've got the giant LA in there for whatever reason. I do prefer this one, where it actually says LA Kings as well. Which means number 1, which shouldn't surprise anybody who watched that other video. And I went with this logo, where you've got the circle. Okay, and this has been used on a jersey. This has been used in branding. They've also used the branding where it's just the head. I like the stars. I like the callback to the Minnesota North Stars that the Minnesota Wild uses. So while you still have a Stars team, this North Star theme that's in the I hear of the what appears to be a bear or cougar. It's just the creature that's the logo, right? The Minnesota Wild word mark and just how classic this looks. And the fact that it's cream colored, not white. There's a lot of things to like about the brand. And I think Minnesota hit it out of the park. I know that you can't pluralize Wild. It's just the Wild. I know that it is a name that's odd. And I know there's people who don't like the logo. I'm well aware. But for me, it's been a home run from day one. And the interesting thing is that when they were first named the team and they first came in, all of their original promotional materials just had a word mark. There was no actual logo. And I remember asking people, what does a Wild look like? Did they name the team and then realize, oh, we don't have a logo because what does a Wild look like? And then they came out with that, and it was like, all right, you did very, very well. So there you go. Western Conference, my favorite logos. And again, it's not a reflection of which teams I do or don't like, because that would be quite a different looking countdown. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.